Hey, how's it going? And today we're taking a look at the race expression in verse. This is a concurrency expression that allows us to run two or more blocks of code. They have to be async expressions, meaning that they have to have a time function in there. What happens is both of the blocks of code can run simultaneously. Eventually one of them is going to win or finish what it needs to do first, and when it wins, the other blocks of code will be canceled. I found it surprisingly challenged to get something to work, but I finally did, and so I'm just sharing that with you today. To make this work, we just need two HUD devices and a verse device. So I'm going to delete one of those spawners, and we're going to come into devices, and we're just going to search for a HUD device. And there's one there, and there's another one there. We can just leave them named because that's device 1 and that's device 2. HUD device 1, I'm just going to type in the red team wins. And then down here we can adjust its color of the font, so we're just going to make it red. So I'm going to drop the green and blue down to 0. And then on the font size we can make it big, so we'll make it 40. I didn't realize these were even there. And then on the second HUD device, we're just going to come up to the text here, and we're going to say the green team wins. And we'll come down here, and on the text color we'll make it green, so we'll drop the red and the blue, and we'll go OK, and we'll make the size 40. And that's all we need to do for those. Now the next part is just doing the verse code. I'm going to clear my search bar here. I'm going to go on the content level folder here and go to verse. Left click, right click, add a new verse file. I'll just leave it called Hello World device and go create, save. Like always, I have the code already written. Otherwise this would be about a half-hour tutorial probably. So I'm just going to double click here to open it up. And we'll go ahead and make this big. I'm just going to go into Notepad. I have all these modules in here to save time, just because it gets tiresome to have to keep copying things in. So, well, first let me go Control A and delete all this, and then I'll go Control V. I'll go over this just real simply. On these modules, the style is that they should be organized alphabetically, so I just have them organized alphabetically. This line here initializes our creative device. Here we have our code for our instance editables, basically for our two HUD devices, and one's called my winning message 1 and one's called my winning message 2. There's our on begin. Suspends means it can take time functions. And here is our race expression here, and I just followed this out of the verse documentation, this part of it. This part I had to really kind of finagle with it. We need a sleep function in here because it has to be async, so it has to have a time function. This line of code wasn't here, that sleep, you couldn't use the race expression. So I had to throw a sleep function there. Right now I have it set for 20 seconds. I think that's a little too long, so I'll set it for 10. But this actually works out kind of nice because, you know, as soon as you hit play, it doesn't just start right away. There's a little gap in time there. And basically what we have here is we just have a variable that we've set, a float to variable x. We have our sleep delay. Then we just get a random float between 1 and 10 and assign it to the variable random 1. Then we do a loop, and then if, a conditional loop, if else, basically saying if x, which we initialize up here, is less than 0, then go ahead and increment by a random number, and then go ahead and print out what that number is. And then if it becomes greater than 100, then else break the loop and stop. Now this seems to be unique to this race expression, but then there's a value down here at the end, and basically that's its output. I guess it spits out this value here. The winning expression spits out a value. And I think it had to be, let me see, can I make it an integer? I guess it can be an integer. So let me just make it an integer. I thought it had to be a float. I thought I got a message about that, but I'll just make it an integer. So down here, winner won. So down here we just have a little bit of logic, and then you would just copy these as you go along. If you wanted more blocks, you just copy and paste them, and then just give it a different variable name and a different value. So it'd be 1, 2, 3. I just did 2 to keep it simple. And then so if the winner, this value up here, is equal to 1, then show the winning message 1, which would be the red team. This is just a customized print string, which I think is good to get in the habit of using, just to, I think it has a lot of application when you're trying to test things, that you can put them in different colors and things. I noticed that gold is a really nice color to use instead of white. So this is just a standard format for those customized print strings. But you do need these two modules up here, the colors and the name colors. And then, of course, if it's not the winning number 1, well, there's only one other one it could be, and so that by default it's going to be winning message 2. And that's all there is to it. So anyway, we'll go back into our code here and we'll compile it. We don't get any errors. I'll double click this and I'll drag it onto the scene. And then we can set our 2 HUD devices. Winning message 1 is going to go to HUD device 1, and winning message 2 is going to go to device 2. And then all I have to do is launch it, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, it's back, and it looks like we're ready to go. So I'll just hit start, and it pretty much runs itself. So I just want to see that the red wins and the green wins, and that there's some balance between them. If one's always winning, then that maybe there's something wrong. So there should be some balance. So we'll see if the red and green wins or who wins. So our sleep is about 10 seconds, so we'll just have to wait and see who wins the race. The green team wins, it looks like, and I see the values over there. Okay, so now let's just see if we can get the red team to win. I was trying to figure out a way to where the player could guess, so the green team wins again. So what are the odds of that? It's supposed to be random. Try again. I'm just waiting for the red team to win. The last time I think the red team won 4 times in a row. I'm trying to make it so that the player guesses which team wins, and then they get points if they're right about which team. But I'm struggling a little bit with that interface. But as soon as I get that figured out, I'll post it. See, there's the red team winning. So it seems to be balanced, and it seems to be working. So anyway, I hope you found this helpful. Take care, have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.